righty, gang, here we go. I'm super excited today for this guest. This is, oh my gosh, this guy has pretty much grown up at Dana Wharf Sportfishing, and my sister and I and my brother, we've watched him grow up here, and I'm super excited to have him on the show today to tell us a little bit of his story, a little bit of his background, and then how well you take care of the kids at Dana Wharf Sportfishing. I'm pretty impressed with what you got going on, Mauricio. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dave.
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. Why don't you let all my people know where you came from, how you got involved in Dana Wharf Sport Fishing? Let's just start at the very beginning. What prompted you to fish? What somebody had to have taken you when you were young, right?
Yeah, no, my dad was into it, and his parents weren't really into it. He kind of started off at a younger age and had to learn it all himself with no one really there to give him any pointers. And I from time before I can remember, he's got pictures where they'd be dragging me along the jetty or on the pier catching fish. And by the time I was 4 or 5, I started bugging him to go on half days. We started going on some half days, and for my 6th birthday, I was so stoked on it. I was like, okay, all I want is an overnight. Like, I'm ready to go on an overnight trip. That's what we got to make it happen. And it was a really good trip, really memorable. Just tried to go fishing anywhere, whether it was freshwater, saltwater. We had a little boat we'd launch in the lakes if we couldn't make it all the way to the beach that day. But fishing as much as we could for anything that bites, and obviously the sport boats are the best of the best, right? You want to be on a boat full of people. You got a galley, you got all that chum, all that bait. It's just, especially as a kid, it's a different camaraderie. There's something about it. That's like what you want. But especially when you're younger, it's harder to get out there all the time. We would go as much as we could. And as I got older, just started going more and more. I could drive myself, buy my own tickets to get on the boat. But anywhere and everywhere for all sorts of, whether it's bass fishing, local half day stuff, or you get out to the deep water, do rock fishing. I think that's the real fisherman just wants to catch anything that'll bite anytime they can get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole bluefin thing has kind of ruined a whole generation, unfortunately.
Kind of, yeah. They're
And
pretty spoiled.
it's pretty amazing. But let's go back to when you were a little kid and your dad would take you fishing. How important was it to just get out there and go fishing as a kid? I mean, we have to emphasize this as we go along, and you take really good care of the kids on the kids' fishing trips out of Dana Wharf. But let's talk about that for just a little bit. How important was it to get out there and go fishing as a kid anywhere? You didn't care if it was a boat or if it was the pier, if it was a dock or a break wall, right?
Right. I mean, it's something to really kind of focus your attention, right? Everyone has their own little knacks or something that they really want to dive into, and especially at that young of an age, I think it's good to, maybe they're not into fishing but they're really into baseball, but it's good to encourage that, right? And fishing is a good one that could be outside of their sports program or something. That's another hobby that's but I've seen it a lot with the kids that it gets them to slow down and focus on something, and they really start to listen and learn, and they gain interest. And I think for me, that was a big part of it too. I could really zero in and focus on what we were doing, learning what rigs we were tying up, gives you something to look forward to as well. Anytime, you get the chance to go, you're stoked. You're loading the truck up with the rods, jumping in and heading up the mountain. Like you said, it doesn't even have to be on a boat. We'd go trout fish at a lake or something. And, it would just, even the leading up to it, I guess just it's hard to describe unless you're a fisherman, but the joy that it brings, you get so fired up on it.
Well, don't you feel, as you work in this industry now and as you take all these children fishing, don't you feel that we need to get more involved taking our kids or our friends' kids or people, because people are too busy nowadays to take kids fishing, and we have an obligation as captains, as deckhands, as human beings on the planet Earth to take a kid fishing, because it changes. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you think about it, how important was it to get that? And I don't care if it's a opaleye perch or a giant tuna. That bite was so incredible as a little kid, right?
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, for sure. Starting them off, as kids, getting them into it, I think no matter what age, when you get that first bite, it's kind of you get that thrill. It's awesome to watch anyone get that first big bite, and you see the light bulb click in their head, and they're like, "Oh, all right." But with the kids, especially, sometimes they're more interested in wanting to play in the bait tank until they finally get that first bite, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's that adrenaline rush!" And then they're glued to the rail trying to get another bite after that. um, Kind of also as a kid, like sense of self-accomplishment. You got to, when you catch that first fish without, the deckhand's help or your dad's help or, an adult's help, you were able to bait the hook yourself. You got it out there, you're waiting for that bite. And, a lot of times when you're learning like that, those bites surprise you. You're not expecting, you're not ready for it, So I think that's a big factor in it too. You weren't ready for that bite. All of a sudden you got bit. That's what you were waiting for. You're waiting for that bite so you can catch that fish. And it does spike the adrenaline and get you the blood flowing.
Yeah, it does. It's super exciting as an adult to know that you turn these children on to something that's super cool that could last for the rest of their lives, like it did you and I.
Yeah.
You might, the next captain might be on that fishing club. The next captain might be that kid fishing on the dock. You just don't know. But if we don't expose these children to fishing, we're missing out big time. And I emphasize it on all my seminars and on all my shows every day. We talk about it, but you've taken it to a whole different level with the kids club at Dana Wharf Sportfishing. And I want to talk about that a little bit later, but gang, today's a super special show. We're going to try to have Mauricio on the show once a month on Wednesdays. And we're going to talk about all the things that are going on at Dana Wharf, all the great things that are going on in his life, everything that fishing has brought to him as he grows up and gets older in this business. He loves to take kids fishing, and you'll find out more about that as we go along. But what we're going to do every Wednesday is we're going to give away a package for two to go fishing on Sunday with Mauricio. He's going to be running the boat on Sunday. Now, it could be a 3/4 day. It could be a half day. We don't know every week
Right. More often than not, Sundays I'll be running the half day, but sometimes Sundays we'll do the 3/4 day rather, and then also if one of the boats gets chartered, so that could kind of rearrange who's doing what trip. But yeah, for the most part, most of the Sunday half days are on the Clemente with me running the boat.
Nice. So what we're going to tell you guys is today we're going to give away the first for two passengers, and it's going to be you and a child. You're going to have to bring a child fishing. That's how this is going to work. And we're going to do this every month forever, I hope, as long as Mauricio wants to be a part of this show. It's going to be spectacular because I love the fact that we're going to, Donna, my sister, my brother Mike has rallied together to do this, to introduce more children to fishing. Now, if you have a kid or a child that just loves to fish already, how cool is that? But whatever it is, and we will give the trip away about 5 minutes before we end the show today. So you all want to stay tuned. And then what you can do is you can share this. Now, the show today is sponsored by Okuma, but it's also sponsored by Dana Wharf Sportfishing, and they're going to be giving away this trip. So you got to stay tuned and pay attention to what's going on, and we'll give this trip away at the end of the day. With 5 minutes left in the show, we'll let you know who won the trip. But how do you win? Make a comment. comment on the show and hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And then we will pick one winner at the end, and I'll let Mauricio pick that guy. You can see the comments on the side, right?
I think I could pull it up right here.
Yeah, so they're commenting on the side, and some lucky person's going to win a trip for 2 to go fishing with Mauricio on Sunday.
Yeah, okay, we got the comments up.
All right. So as we cruise along, we'll take that. But so back to where you were starting. So then, Mauricio, what made you want to go work on a boat? What a hell of a job that is. Doesn't pay anything. You don't make any money. You work your butt off. You're constantly at work, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why did you want to do it?
I definitely didn't know all the ins and outs, you know, and how it all worked. All I knew was I wanted to be on the water fishing. And also I think it was huge. You know, I got very lucky that the boats that we did go on when I was younger had some amazing crew that were very friendly, very helpful. And, you know, they try to get the kids engaged too, you know, asking them, what fish is this? You know, testing them to know what species they caught. You know, if you can tell me every species you caught, there's a lot of different fish you can catch out there, all on the same spot, you know, whether it's the bass, calico bass, and sand bass, a lot of different shallow water rockfish, whitefish, sculpin, sheephead, and a lot of people aren't, you know, as knowledgeable on what fish is what, but little things like that, when you can grab a kid and get them to, you notice that they want to learn, they're into it, and you start teaching them little things like that, and stuff like that stuck with me. And I remembered how much that could make or break a trip, you know, even if it's tough fishing, if your crew's engaged and helping and being friendly, and, you know, you still had a great time on the water.
No, you don't unsubscribe, Seawolf. I'm just saying, if you're a subscriber already, you're in. You're gonna win. You got a chance to win. But if you're not a subscriber, we can't give this away. I mean, anybody that subscribes to my channel is eligible, and you've already subscribed, so don't be a potato head. And then ReelQuick, any platform, because we're live on all platforms right now: Rumble, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Megaphone. We're on everything right now, so it doesn't matter where you follow us at. You got a chance to win this trip. Just make sure that you're going to bring a kid when you go fishing. That's all. It's super important to turn children on to this fishing thing. Back to what we were talking about, though, Mauricio. The way you engage with your clients and children especially, you know how important that is, because you remember when you were a little kid. How cool is it that the captain or the deckhand remembers who they are?
Yeah, no, seriously, you know, and like I said, each trip you go out, they would have a different little, or at least for me when I was younger, the little stuff that I remember, you know, they would have different little, not quizzes, right? But they would want to see, what have you learned? What did you remember from the last trip you were on? Show me that knot again, you know, and you tied it right. And they're like, dude, good job. That was perfect. Or maybe, you know, you forgot, you didn't tie it quite perfect. He's like, yeah, no, let's cut that and try again. Here, this is what you need to do. And little stuff like that. You know, and obviously they've got to be into it too. It's not something that's necessarily easy to get engaged in when the fishing is slow, but all of that's very important. How to rig up, how much weight to use, you know, making sure your knots are tied right. That can play a big part in the catching fish too. And if you can get them to learn that part of it, that's just another thing that keeps the gears moving. Well, if this isn't getting bit, the current's picking up, what can I do differently? And we do see the younger fishermen, kids especially, pick up on that a lot easier. You know, you're telling them there's not a lot of current today. You can get away with a much smaller weight. And they've got the right tackle and the right, you know, whether it's lead head on a fluke or a swim bait, or they're trying to use a little sliding egg sinker with a strip of squid. There's a lot of little things that you can change based on conditions, and conditions are constantly changing out there. And the adults almost forget that, right? But you'll see the kids switching up their tactics throughout the day. And we give that information to everyone. I'll say it on the PA out loud. You know, you walk around the deck telling people, but for whatever reason, it's the younger crowd that starts to adapt and switch up their tactics, what they're using, and you start seeing them find success.
Yeah, as a captain or a deckhand, you understand how important it is to engage with the kids, engage. And as you work on the boats and you became a captain and all the other things, but you remember that the engagement is the key. And
Yes.
it's not hanging out on the boat, seeing how many cigarettes you can smoke today. It's seeing how many children's lives you can affect, right?
Right. Yeah. Seeing how many, if you notice you've got some kids that are first timers, let's see how many we can get their first fish today. And the kids that have been coming out, like we're saying, let's test them a little bit. Let's see, can they tie a knot, pin a bait, and get it out there without my help while I'm helping some of the other kiddos out? And when you do get them hooked, for lack of better words, you do get them into it and they're wanting to, and you're watching them learn, you can really watch every trip as they evolve. They come back out in another week or two and they're putting everything they learned to use, plus they're learning a little more. And I think the only way you're going to give them that knowledge is keeping, staying engaged and keeping up with all those little tips and tricks, do's and don'ts, little things that they can change to help their game out.
Right. And the thing about Dana Wharf sport fishing is it's all about service. We've been taught by my dad since we were little kids, and
Definitely.
And it's all about the service. You get on the Clemente, you get on the Some Fun, the Real Fun, the Dana Pride, you get on those boats, the Fury, and it's all about service. It's from the adult who knows how to fish better than anybody to the little kid who doesn't know how to fish. You guys focus on service like you can't even comprehend. I remember having to explain to people when I was a kid working on the boat, you got to let me take your fish off. If you don't, I get in trouble. If the passengers take their own fish off, we're in trouble.
Yeah. And sometimes with the kids, you'll see they're very adamant. No, I got to learn how to do it. I want to learn how. And the kids want to take it off themselves, which is fine. But yeah, we're there. We'll take every fish off the hook. We try to stay on top of that. One, like you said, for the service, first and foremost, we are trying to provide a good service and give everyone a, fun day on the water. But two, also for the conservation of it, right? The longer that you're sitting there playing with that fish out of the water, ripping his lips up, we can come get him off the hook. If it's a keeper, we can keep it. If not, release him as quick as we can.
Right. Absolutely. The fish is the most important thing to get it back in the water, because you want someone else to have that opportunity to catch that fish.
Definitely.
And you guys are really, really good at that. 1 second here. We're going to, for just a second, I just want to show everybody this really cool fishing rods that Okuma has to offer to everybody. And then we'll get right back into this because we got lots to talk about today. But look at this, gang. You guys won't believe these Catalina rods. These things are absolutely incredible.
Hey guys, this is John Bretz with Okuma Fishing Tackle. What we have here is a new Catalina rod series. This is new saltwater series. We're doing 5 different models, all going to be 7.5 foot lengths. We're going to do a medium, medium heavy, and heavy live bait rod. A lot of versatility with that rod. And we're going to do 2 rail rods, a 2XH and a 3XH model. You'll notice the foregrips are EVA on all of the rods. The rail rods are going to have a shrink tube rear grip with a machined aluminum gimbal. And then when you look at the live bait rods, those will have an EVA with a rubber end cap. As far as a guide configuration goes, we're going to have stainless steel welded guides on the live bait rods. And those will also be bridge guides, so it's extremely durable. This is the type of guide that you want for ultimate durability. And then for the rail rods, we have stainless steel C-guide frames with zirconium inserts. So not only do you have that deep pressed frame design to protect the insert, you also have zirconium, which is going to be optimized for braided line fishing. This is just an incredible rod. The rod blank itself is 24-ton carbon fiber, so it's going to be lightweight and extremely durable. And then we equipped all these rods with our UFR tip technology. That's going to give you over 3 times the lifting power. So if you're in a situation where you don't want a high stick, but you actually have a fish that runs under the boat, it's going to help protect and make that rod that much more durable. As far as the reel seats go on the live bait rods, they're all going to have Fuji reel seats, but depending on the model, it'll either be the DPS Fuji reel seat or the heavy duty graphite Fuji reel seat. So great componentry. When you get to the rail rod, you're going to have a machined aluminum Okuma reel seat, 2-toned anodized. Just looks amazing and give you amazing performance. These are rods that I'd put on my boat and I'd fish on any trip. Amazing new introduction in addition to the Okuma product line, the Catalina Rod Series. If you want to find out more information, check it out at a retailer near you or on okumafishingusa.com.
And gang, I would definitely check those things out. I have a bunch of them here at the house. Those rods are going to stand up to anything that's going on the market today. You guys will be totally stoked. Check it out at okumafishingusa.com, and we'll have some new products to talk about with Okuma here real soon. We'll have John Bretza back on the show. Hopefully Dave Brown's going to be joining us in the next week or so with Benji Kim showing us some of the new products for the surf. So check it out at okumafishing.com. So Mauricio.
Yeah.
Now that you are totally into this thing with the kids fishing, I want to talk about how you got to be a deckhand, how you became a deckhand, got into this, and then decided that, hey, I want to do this for the rest of my life, became a captain. What drove you to do that?
Well, from a young age, I did know, I was pretty young, probably 6 or 7, after that overnight trip and going on a bunch of trips. I thought that was awesome. The way that they could make your day on the water, helping you out, being there along the way, coaching you, especially for something that was so important to me. I loved fishing so much, and they're the ones side by side helping you when you're trying to land that fish. Or like I said, teaching you the little things, tips and tricks to help you get bit so you can land a fish. And I wanted to be on the water every day, just helping people make those same kind of memories from a pretty early age. I think when I was younger, it was probably more selfish reasons, wanting to go fishing all the time, but you don't realize when you're 7, 8 years old that there's also work that comes along with it. But like I said, after I had gotten a job and could drive myself around with a driver's license, I started fishing on the boats more. I could buy my own ticket, drive myself there. And then it was actually the summer after my first year of college. I was just going to community college, and summer's rolling around, fish are starting to bite. I started going out on some of the boats when I could, and one of the captains was like, hey man, we've been actually looking for crew, and you've been not only fishing really well, but you've been really friendly and engaging with all the people, and you seem like you'd be a good fit to work on boats. Have you ever thought of it? And I was like, actually, that's all I've ever wanted to do. I just didn't hope it was ever an attainable goal or something that, you could make a career and be, successful with. And, like you were saying, it is hard. There's a lot of challenges with it, but if you love it, and it doesn't, very, very rarely does it feel like work. I'm very excited to get up and come to work every day.
Yeah, that's something that I focused on a lot, talking to everybody that I've talked to over the years, is when you got the bug and then you finally get a job working on the boats, it does not feel like work. And you're as excited about it every single day going. You're just excited. It's like going to Disneyland. It's like you almost don't sleep. I know it's hard to imagine, especially when we don't get any sleep, but you're afraid you're going to miss the alarm clock. You're afraid all that you're going to, even though you've had 4 or 5 hours of sleep, you don't want to miss out on the next day. It's kind of hard to understand as young people today that don't want to work, how we're driven to this business, right?
Right. Yeah.
We just can't get enough of it. We just got to go. We got to be there. We don't want to miss anything. But Donna had an interesting thing she was telling me a little bit about. Can you tell me what the deal was going to Oceanside to work instead of Dana Point? What?
Oh, well, no, just that I had started down there when the first
Okay.
boat I worked on was down in Oceanside.
For
And
Joey Helgren?
yes, with Joey Helgren on the
Oh, you poor
Oceanside
son of a
95.
gun.
Luckily, the Oceanside 95 was operated by Rick Slavkin, who's now owns that boat. But at the time, Joey owned it, and Rick just did such a good job. Joey was kind of passing the reins off, even though Joey was the owner. He was just trusting Rick to keep the boat in good shape, running well, and he didn't. Obviously, he was still around, and he definitely still talked to us, but he didn't bug us as much as the half-day, three-quarter-day boat, that had more crew captains switching around. So he was always there checking on him, make sure everything went smooth, and does the boat need anything. But yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. There's a lot. I think I'm grateful for it, no doubt. There was a lot to learn there, from both him and Rick. So, but I'm very happy to be here. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you were in Oceanside, then you ended up, wait a minute, Dana Point. That's kind of a different place than Oceanside. How did you end up here?
So when we were younger, when we were kids, one of the kids that worked up here for a while, eventually left the fishing industry to go to college, but we stayed really good buddies. And I was kind of in between jobs from that Oceanside job. I was back in construction, and I was telling him, man, I miss the water. I don't like working on land. I want to be on a boat again. And he was like, well, I started in Dana Point. I really, really like it up there. It's a really good place to work, and a lot of your passengers, a lot of clients make it too. That is a huge part, is the passengers we get here. Our clients are very grateful, and appreciative of the help. They don't act like they're, too snobby or better. Like a lot of boats you go on, especially younger, because I started out as a younger deckhand, you try to help someone or show someone something, and I've been doing this since before you were born, kid. We very rarely get people like that. They're willing to listen and accept all the help and knowledge that you're willing to share. And I think that goes a long way. It's probably the crew member's least favorite thing. You're out on the water every day watching these fish's habits change, and what to expect the next day, and people get stuck in their head. Well, last year I caught something on this, and that's what they want to use all day. Well, it's not what's the ticket this year. Their habits change, and you got to kind of keep up with it. Just like moving, right? You're kind of expecting the captain to find the fish. Those fish are always moving. Once you're on the fish, yeah, you can try whatever tactic you want, but guess what? They're following those fish every day, watching what they're eating, knowing what habits they're trending towards. They're probably telling you to fish that because that's what's going to have the best chance at getting bit, not your lure that worked last year.
Right. Yeah, that is kind of comical when they think, oh yeah, well, last year I was fishing with Tommy and we went over here, and it's a different day, it's a different week, it's a different year, it's a different thing.
Day by day can change for sure.
Right. We know that for a fact. And now that you're kind of inside the inner, you know it better than anybody. It's not going to be the same. That's the really cool thing about this fishing, is every day changes, and you've got to put the puzzle together as a captain. You've got to outthink, and you got to be in front of, so that you can put your passengers on the fish. But also, you guys take such good care of the passengers, besides getting them on the fish, just teaching them what they need to do to catch more fish. One more thing, and then we're going to get into some pictures and some video, is what did Joe Marino's brother, is he the one that told you to come to Dana Wharf?
I don't know. No, the original one was Kyle
Okay.
Nelson.
All right.
he was a lot younger when he worked here. Like I said, he eventually went off to college, and he's got an office job now. And we still talk all the time, really good friends. But he was working up here, and he was the one that said, you should go check it out. And I had fished up here a couple times when I was a kid, but as an adult, that was my first time. I drove up. He was like, dude, let's go fishing together. And we jumped on a half day together, and he introduced me to some of the guys he knew from up here. And right away, they're like, yeah, he seems like he'd be a good fit for Dana Wharf. We should get him on one of the boats.
All right.
So it worked out.
Yeah, it did. We're very, very happy to have you as a member of the family and in the crew. And there's just so much going on here. Donna wants us to show everything all at the same time. Everything.
I know.
What's happening? What's going on? We're doing the best we can, Donna. We're trying to do everything.
I definitely want to get into some more of the Sunday half days and what we try to do with the clinics and what we're teaching the kids.
And there's the Clemente. That's the boat you run, right?
Yes, that's the one.
There it is right there. That was the queen of the fleet forever until the Dana Pride came along. That was the boat. I mean, I got a great picture of me as a little tiny boy when my dad was running that boat off the San Clemente Pier. It's been with the family for a very, very, since 64, as a matter of fact. So you're very, very blessed to run that boat. There he is right there with the beautiful, you and your partner with a beautiful yellowtail.
Oh, yeah. That was on a half day.
Can you believe that on a half day trip? That's insane. Here you are again with there you are on the kids club, right?
Yeah, that's one of the, that's not the kids clinic trip. That's actually one of the kids camp trips. Yeah. Where we get, we do one after school program where every Wednesday after school for 5 weeks, kids come down, jump on the boat. We take them fishing from 4 to 7. But then that one there during the day over the summer, it'll be the same thing. 25 kids sign up for a week or 4 days of jumping on the boat. Their parents drop them off in the morning, and they come out fishing with us for the day. And that one is really where you start to see, you get a mix of kids that have fished a lot, they already have some experience, and some kids that have never done it before, maybe a little bit of freshwater, but not much of the saltwater. And you're fishing with the same group of kids for 4 days, and you can really watch those newer anglers advance. And the first day they can't even cast, and by the last day they're calling out their cast, aiming where it's going, watching their hook behind them the whole time, and still landing right where they wanted it to go.
That is so special. I'm glad that you're a part of that and you're watching these children grow up and learn the right way to fish. That's so special. That is pretty dang cool. Let's see. We got this picture right here. There you go. There you go.
So one of the things, especially with the kids, they all want keepers, right? And they want to try to take something home, cook up with the family. The best eating fish and the best way to catch some keepers is go rock fishing. So a lot of the times we'll pick one day during the kids camp, take them all rock fishing so they can fill up the bags with some rockfish.
Yeah, and people don't understand how important it is to get a fish to take home. And these kids, they're going to take that fish home. They're going to eat it. That's going to be the coolest thing. And they're going to want to come back. It's super important to understand how important it is for them to get to take something home.
Yeah. And once they've evolved, once they get older, you'll see a lot of fishermen do appreciate the catch and release of it. Rock fishing, not so much. When you go rock fishing, you're usually doing that so you can fill the bags up with some good eating fish. You don't typically try to release the rockfish, but some of the other more sporty style fishing, like trying to trick those bass into eating, slow growing fish, shallow enough where they don't ever have any problems trying to release them, really, as long as you didn't bang them up too bad, getting them on the boat or taking the hook out, they all swim back very healthy. So that you do start to see them as they grow up want to appreciate that conservation and catch and release and let the bass go. But yeah, everyone that goes fishing wants to catch a keeper, catch something to take home and make dinner. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I I can't believe we almost lost this fish right here that young man's caught, and he's so happy, and he's going to get to take it home, and he's got a smile on his face, and we almost weren't even allowed to catch these anymore. It's so sad.
Yeah. I'm glad we were able to. I don't know if it would be the right time to talk about it, but
right.
We actually did get really involved with all that sand bass.
Yeah, I'm not getting in it. Donna doesn't want us to get into
it.
Okay,
yeah, no, that's fine.
That's okay. But yeah, I got a video here somewhere. I can't find it right now, but I'm going to get it up and play it. But Mauricio, why don't you talk about what's going on, Kids Club, all the different things that Dana Wharf Sport Fishing has to offer. And we're giving away a free trip for 2 people for next Sunday to go fishing with Mauricio. But talk about all the great things. Donna gave you a list of really cool things that are going on, the halibut derby. There's so much good stuff going on at Dana Wharf. Go over that for a few minutes.
Yeah, so coming up in January, starting January 1st, we do our halibut derby. That's not only to just specifically target halibut. If you can catch a halibut right away off, I mean, that's a good day. But then on top of doing a derby specifically targeting halibut, we try to make it a fun little competition or tournament and see who can get the biggest. Every month there's a winner for the biggest, and then an overall prize, I believe. Let me see, when does it? January 1st to March 31st. So January, February, and March. And it may change every year. Sometimes things could get a little different, but typically there will be a winner for the month, right? Biggest fish that month caught. And then an overall winner, over the 3 months who caught the biggest halibut, and a lot of other little raffles and stuff to go along with it. But it's just cool that it's something that will specifically target halibut all day. And that being said, we do get some passengers that come out and buy a ticket, and halfway through the day, they're like, well, are we going to try to fish for anything else? Why aren't we catching rockfish? Well, you bought a ticket to come on a halibut derby. We're going to halibut drift all day. And sometimes it does take all day to get on top of some halibut that want to bite. Sometimes you're slow picking all day. Each time you set up for a drift, you might get a couple. Or then just like any type of fishing, sometimes you get out there and you're specifically trying for halibut and try all day, and you might not get one at all. But that's part of halibut fishing, and a lot of the halibut fishermen know, that's part of the game with any fishing, but especially halibut fishing. But it gives you the opportunity, if that's something you're interested in and you wanted to put a whole day, targeting the halibut, and that's what we'll do on those trips. And we do get bycatch. It's not strictly halibut. There's a chance for, if we're drifting, over some or off the edges of some structure looking for those halibut, we could pick up bass, sculpin, different stuff like that. But we're specifically trying to target halibut on that trip.
Hold on, Mauricio. I got a few videos here.
Make sure everyone's gathered around, close enough to see, close enough to hear. We want to.
Yay! Look at all the kids. Look at all the kids for the kids clinic.
Like I said, there are a lot of other knots out there, but this one is very strong for how simple it is to tie. A lot of the other knots start to get very, very complicated. Right there, our knot's tied, we just have to cinch it tight. Another important thing with fishing, especially with our fluorocarbon, if you know what that is, and monofilament, that's what this fishing line is made out of. It does not like the heat. When you cinch that knot tight, there's enough friction to burn your line and weaken it. If you hook a big fish, it might break. So you'll see a lot of fishermen lick the line a little. That way they don't burn the line when they cinch that knot tight. Now our knot's tied. Clip our tag in and we're ready to go. For the example, I'm going to add a little weight to this one too and give you guys one more chance to watch what I do there. Bless you. Once again, give yourself enough line. Don't reach it over your head. Safety. So a lot of what I'm teaching you, safety ties into it. Not just to help you catch more fish, but also so you can execute everything safely and no one's getting a hook in their hand, head, or face, or falling and scraping their knee on the deck. That being said, no running, no jumping, no climbing on anything. We're not a jungle gym. That's kind of the stuff that doesn't pertain to fishing so much, but it's equally as important, okay? Now on to the fishing. If we want to catch a fish, we have to know how to tie a hook, right? We don't expect you to learn in one day. It does take practice. If it's something you have been practicing and you have a knot that you've been trying to learn, stick with that one. Don't confuse yourself trying to learn a bunch of different knots. Just pick one, perfect it, have confidence in it, know that you tie it well, and that knot will work. There's a lot of fishing knots out there, but I'll teach you one if you haven't been practicing. The knot that I like to tie is called a uni. I think it's very rare. Oh, I'm losing you guys. I know those sea lions are really neat, but we'll have plenty of time to check out all the different ocean life, right, guys? But so right here is our tag end, and one more little thing, just so that you guys know, I'll have a little bit of a quiz at the end of this to see who's paying attention. I'm gonna have some questions for you guys, okay? But so this right here is our tag end. There's no more line. The other side, going through our guides to our reel, that's our main line. Our tag end, we want to feed through the eye of the hook. Now, give yourself a lot of room to work right here too. Big thing we see with people who are just learning and starting out is they try to tie it with such a little bit of line here and they struggle with it. Give yourself a lot of room to work with. Now with my tag end, I want to create a big loop and pinch that loop right there where I pinched the hook, right? I have the hook in there too. Now with that loop, I want my main line also running with it. So pinch your main line in the same spot. Now my loop and my main line are together and I still have my big tag end hanging out. Take that tag in and go in between the loop over both lines.
All right, so you guys got to see a little bit about what Mauricio's all about. We need to get you back on here, buddy. You just faded away for a second. We'll get you back in here in a minute. Here he comes. Right back in. Whoops, he was on and then he's off again. There he is.
Hopefully,
hey, buddy.
We'll see that time.
There you go. You're back.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the heck were we just watching? There's a bunch of bitch of videos there. What is that? A kids club? What is it?
Yeah, so that's what we're saying on Sunday afternoons. We specifically try to get kids on the boat. We try to get every paid adult gets a free kids ticket as well on Sunday afternoons. We offer that clinic. We change the times a little bit, right? So our typical double half days, the morning trip leaves at 6:30, gets back at 11:30. Can you hear me still? Is it just the camera that's frozen?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. So gets back at 11:30, and then we would take off again at noon. Well, on Sundays, we push that back a little bit. They give us a little more time for getting the boat all.
We lost him for a minute here, Donna. I don't know what's going on here. Go ahead and click out of it and then get back in it. We totally lost Mauricio for a minute, Donna. Your internet at Dana Wharf Sportfishing, you got to pay for it. No, I'm just kidding. Something's going on there at Dana Wharf Sportfishing right now. We lost the internet. The internet's down, but they'll be back up here in a second, I'm sure. We just got a little technical error. Gang, we're giving away a free trip out of Dana Wharf Sportfishing on Sunday to go fishing with Mauricio. And all you got to do is leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, you need to subscribe to our channel. If you already are subscribed, you'll get that already. You'll be qualified to win. And then what we ask is that you take a kid when you go fishing out of Dana Wharf Sportfishing on the free trip on Sunday when we give it away here. We're going to give it away in probably 10, 15 minutes right at the end of our show. We're hopefully that Mauricio comes back on here, Donna. You guys are in a mad panic at Dana Wharf Sportfishing right now to get him back up and going again. We're standing by waiting for you. Let's see what we got. We got any more pictures to show? We got anything else going on here at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing? Let's see what we got. No, we're kind of just setting in.
Like I said, there are a lot of other knots out there, but this one is very strong for how simple it is to tie. A lot of the other knots start to get very, very complicated. Right there, our knot's tied, we just have to cinch it tight. Another important thing with fishing, especially with our fluorocarbon, if you know what that is, and monofilament, that's what this fishing line is made out of. It does not like the heat. When you cinch that knot tight, there's enough friction to burn your line and weaken it. If you hook a big fish, it might break. So you'll see a lot of fishermen lick the line a little. That way they don't burn the line when they cinch that knot tight. Now our knot's tied with our tag in. And then bring your main line, pinch it in the same spot. That way they run together there. And this can go over both of them, through that loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Cinch it tight. We're good to go. Now this is a sliding egg sinker. This is one of the rigs that we were using earlier today. We were finding some success with it. Depending on what bait you're using and what the current's doing out there, sometimes a little bit more weight is easier. So we also have some of these dropper loops rigged up and ready. This will get your bait down to the bottom a lot faster. If you have questions learning how to rig this one up, we can do that. We can show you that too. But once again, we don't expect you to learn it in one day. We'll be there to help. Yeah?
Why is the weight so close?
We will definitely get to that. So with this one, it's...
There you go.
All right, you're back. Hold on a second. All right, you're back. Woohoo! We're back.
Do you want to turn the speaker on?
You're back. There's Donna. There's my wonderful sister.
Hi.
Hi.
We're here.
Yeah, you're back. You're back here. You're in. You're going. You're good. Talk
Yeah.
about.
So we were saying how we changed the times for the Sunday half days. That way we can get that clinic in there. So on Sundays, rather than leaving the dock at 12, we'll leave the dock at 12:45. At 12:15, hopefully everyone's already lined up, checked in the office, gotten their tickets, they're lined up. We'll go up and start the clinic, get the kids down on the boat. We always try to encourage if there's any parents that want to come down. It's very informational. The parents can learn a lot too, especially if they're newer to fishing. And I think that helps a lot. You know, when you have a younger kid that wants to get into it, especially on a sport boat where there's 30, maybe even 40 other people, we can't give that one-on-one attention the entire time. We do our best, we run around, but a lot of the parents, you'll see them learning during the clinic as well, and then they can help the kids out at the rail with different little things while we're running around in between the different families, different kids, giving them tips and tricks, taking fish off the hook. But yeah, you'll see a lot of the parents learning a lot too. And I think that's good for kind of a little bonding too. You get to, you know, try to slow it down and break it down and explain it to the kids a little better if they aren't quite getting it the way that one person explains it. Maybe you can put it into some different words where they can pick up what you're putting down a little easier.
Yeah, absolutely. What else is going on at Dana Wharf right now? You got all kinds of stuff. Why don't we talk about the halibut derby? I don't know. Maybe there's not a halibut derby. I don't know what's going on.
We are doing that, but that doesn't start till January 1st.
Okay.
And we'll do that until March 31st. Then when Rockfish opens back up in April, we kind of start gearing more towards that. But that halibut derby is really neat. It gives you something to specifically target those halibut all day. A lot of the times on the other trips, yeah, you still have a chance at catching halibut on the half days and 3/4 days, but you're not drifting. The boat's on anchor, so you're not really covering a lot of ground. And depending on conditions, the current might not be the right direction or the right speed for you to really drag on the bottom on anchor with a bait. You know, you do get a much better chance covering a lot more ground on the drift. So that's something where we just commit to drifting all day, looking for those halibut.
And then what about this deep water? I keep hearing about this deep water rockfish fishing you guys are doing out on the 14-mile bank.
Yeah, that's been awesome. So rock fishing, I'm sure if you fished way back in the day, you remember the 5-pound weights, the big bike reel handles, and we're not doing anything too crazy like that. But now that they've opened up some of that deeper water, we're starting to explore 600. Some of our trips, we might even look at like 900 feet, but usually that 5 to 700's been the magic number where it seems like that's where the better quality fish are holding and feeding. And it's definitely new to all of us, right? Even the experienced captains that have been rock fishing the last 15, 20 years, that 14 is all new ground. We're all kind of putting those puzzle pieces together, and that makes it a lot of fun on our part. We're exploring, trying to learn new areas, find different species. When you're out that deep, you start getting opportunity at some different species of rockfish that you're not seeing in 300 feet. The bank rockfish, the chili peppers tend to be a lot bigger out there. A lot of speckled rockfish, and then
And how far away is the 14 from Dana Point? Is it 14 miles? Is it 18? What is it?
14 and a half, just about. It depends where on the bank you're fishing, right? There's some parts that might be a little closer if you're on that inside edge of the bank. If you're getting to the western edge, out there, it might be quite a bit of bank out there. It's got, if you're looking at a map of the ocean floor, there are 2 high spots that come up. Still very deep, but that underwater seamount is perfect relief for these fish. That's where they end up calling home. And
Yeah,
like
one of
oh,
our good buddies, Jeff, fishes with you guys all the time. Little Jeff, he's out there all the time fishing with you guys. He
yeah,
loves that deep water rockfish fishing. But he
it's
also loves the calico bass, which my favorite fish in the whole world to catch is the calico bass. And Dana Point's been known as the calico bass capital of the world for a very, very long time. And you
oh yeah,
guys have so much area below your harbor to fish calicos. I'm just absolutely amazed at how much area you have and how untouched it really is. It's not really, there's no pressure, right? Except Dana Wharf. That's the only pressure.
right. Yeah, very little, especially as far as sport boats go. Very little pressure. On the weekends you get some private boats zipping around, but they're not, putting a whole lot of pressure on them. They're not fishing them for very long. They're not sending 30 to 60 baits down really. But the sport boats, we do have our own little bite of coast, our own little section that not many of the other sport boats ever come around or touch. And that I think is a huge help too, getting that little part of the coast that you don't have to worry, oh man, did 3 of the other half day boats already hammer this spot this week? So it makes it a lot more enjoyable for the crew. I think the passengers may not notice that as much.
Right. Well, when I was fishing out of Dana Wharf back in the day, there was 15 sport boats all going out same time every morning. It was crazy. You don't
Yeah,
have that. Unfortunately, we don't have that problem anymore. And fortunately, we don't have that problem. It's a double-edged sword. But
definitely.
the reason why I called Jeff Little is because he's trying to turn himself on as a little kid here to get the free trip,
I
Matt.
saw that in the comments.
So don't give me a bunch of crap for calling Jeff Little. He knows who he is and he knows what he's about. But what else is going on, Marcus? Mauricio, we want to talk about whatever you guys got going on.
Well, if we want to shift gears to some of the longer trips for a little, the Fury's still getting off the dock with Marcus at the helm, owner operator. Depending on how long of a trip, if they can get past San Clemente, they've still been finding those tuna pretty good. Otherwise, sticking at San Clemente, the squid's floating really good there right now. A lot of squid to be made, and then you've got tanks of live squid for bait, which is the perfect bait for those yellowtail. Still opportunity at some of those in the dark or the early morning gray light. And then I'm not sure, depending if it's charter or open party, whether they fill the rest of the day with rock fishing or staying tight to the island for the bass, bonita, barracuda. But there's still been some opportunity over there, and a lot less pressure there as well. One, because it's starting to get a little cooler towards the end of the season. So not as many boats are getting out there, are getting off the dock. But two, the boats that are getting off the dock, a lot of them seem like they're specifically targeting that tuna. So San Clemente's got plenty of opportunity still, and with not a lot of pressure right now.
And then Donna was telling me you guys are also running lobster trips now. You can charter the Real Fund and go lobster fishing.
Yes, it has to be a charter. It's not like buying an open party ticket. You're chartering the Real Fund for 10 people. So if you're the one chartering it, you're inviting 9 of your buddies, friends, family. Um, and that's another thing where, depending on how dirty you want to get, if you want to be really, getting dirty with it, you can help bait the traps and everything, but really we're there to do all that. We try, especially for the first drop, we'll try to have everything baited up and ready for you when you get on the boat. We go over a little seminar, the safety protocol and the safety speech we do with every trip. Then we get off the dock, try to get that first drop before the sun goes down, and letting them soak into the dark a little bit. And then usually, depending on how long you're soaking, you get enough time to do 3 or 4 different sets with all your traps.
Okay. And then Dana Wharf Sport Fishing, once again, there's a spectacular amount of boats, a spectacular amount of crew, but I think everybody wants to go fishing with you now. So how can they come out with you? How often are you running the boat? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm on the Clemente pretty much full time. If they do need to pull me to another Dana Wharf boat, like you were saying, we're all family and I don't mind, but pretty much on the Clemente full time. I'll be running the boat every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And sometimes we'll sprinkle in some Fridays and Saturdays, but I will be running the boat Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And if I'm not running the boat Friday, Saturday, I might be in the galley cooking.
Oh, perfect. So we can have a burger.
That's right.
All right. So Dana Wharf Sport Fishing, whale watching, how do we get a hold of them? How can we schedule a trip to come out of Dana Wharf?
Well,
What
I
do you
think
got?
for everybody nowadays, the easiest way is just booking online. If you wanted to go to danawharf.com, it's pretty simple for the online booking process, picking the trip you want. And that's something that I think is a little on the newer side. But when you go to book your trip online, it does show what you obviously know what trip you're buying. You're buying a half day, a ticket to go on the half day, ticket to go on the 3/4 day, but you weren't sure what boat it was going to be on. Now,
There we hung up again. Dana Wharf Sport Fishing.com is how you can get a hold of them.
day on the Clemente, half days on the real boat. We're doing a little
There we
port
go.
again. Okay, we're back. But yeah, so now when you do your online booking, it'll tell you what boat that trip's is going to be on as well. So if you're booking a half day, is it going to be on the Clemente, the Real Fun, the Some Fun? The same with the 3/4 days. So the online booking, danawharf.com, or if you wanted to call the office, 888-224-0603, and you can book through the office. Or if you had any questions before you booked, you weren't quite sure, they can help you out there too, answer any questions you might have.
And then it's up to you. You got to pick one of these people that are leaving comments on the side to give away this free trip.
That's right.
So you got to pay attention right now. You got to make a call.
Let's see. I think that one will do it. Yes.
Can you see him?
No, that was right. All right. Yes, we've got it.
Okay. Let them know who's going to win.
Are we ready for that now?
Yeah, we're done.
Well, dang, that little
That went by quick, huh?
yeah, it did. That technical error cheated me out of a few minutes. I'm definitely gonna have to come back.
Once a month on
I'll tell
Wednesdays.
you what, I don't know who GS is, but GS says I cook some good burgers. So if they're willing to come out on that Sunday afternoon trip, they've got a kid to bring. I think we should give it to GS.
There you go, GS, whoever you are. Call me 949-374-0786. I'll get you in touch with Donna at Wharf Sportfishing. You can get out there with Mauricio and go fishing and bring a kid. Mauricio, I'm sorry that we had a little technical difficulty, but I was able to keep the ball rolling along because Donna sent us a bunch of videos, so we kept it going. I want to thank you very much. This was a great show. I had a really good time, and I think all of my people really enjoyed it. And I know Jeff just loves fishing with you. He's out all the time on the Clemente or on the Sun Fun. He's out there fishing all the time. And good luck this week. And we will get together in 3 weeks. We'll have Mauricio back on here again talking about what's going on. So think about all your questions you might have and let him know. And Donna, thank you for letting us have Mauricio for the day. And thank you all very, very much for watching our show. Oh, he can't make it. Pick someone else.
Oh, dang. All right.
All right.
Let's see.
Or it could be any Sunday.
Fishing Matt Ryan?
Nope, he's going on vacation.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang.
Mike Lewis. What about Mike Lewis? That one work?
He's too far away.
Ah. Do you have any ideas? You have any ideas who could?
Well, we're giving it to Jeff, Huntington
Oh,
Beach.
perfect. We'll give it to Jeff then. I was just worried he was going to try to keep both tickets because he's trying to be a kid. But perfect. That works.
There you go, Jeff. You get to go fishing out of Dana Wharf with Donna and Mauricio. Hey, thank you all very much. Mike Lewis, if you can make it, let me know. I'll get you a ticket too. I just figured you're in Ventura, Oxnard area. It's the long drive on a Sunday for a half-day trip. But
Yeah,
if you can make it, Mike, we'll get you out there. I promise you. But Jeff, you're going for sure. And Mike Lewis, if you want to go, just call me. You know my number. You can go anytime you want. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
all.
Appreciate it. I'm excited for the next one.
And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll be on here with Tiffany Vague and Vague Rods, and we'll be talking how to wrap your rods and how to make bitchin' custom